Welcome back to your world. I hope you're having an amazing morning. It is a fire up in here. We're talking about Come We Stay. We're talking about those informal unions versus the traditional marriages. What's your preference? And the question of the day today is, Come we stay? Or wait till marriage? What's your take? And why? And your feedback is fire, Winnie.
Hey, let me tell you, Hey, because Miss Jenny told us, it's your choice. You decide. All right, I can see someone here says, this is Tony KE, says, still marriage because of hard times of life nowadays. Maisha ni ngumu, wacha tu come we stay. And then Ngozi says, none, come and go it is. It's not come and stay, come we stay, it's come and go. And then Jerry Opio says it reflects God's order and design for relationships. Come we stay may seem convenient, but it lacks the structure, security, and spiritual covering that marriage offers. For me, waiting until marriage reflects obedience to God's word and a desire to build something lasting. Where? Hey, all right. And as I sampled Mo, we have a lawyer on set, and then sample Mo, and then we'll come back to the same. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Alongside Bishop Grace Dalizu, the senior pastor at Jesus Lives Ministries International, and Jenny Karina, psychologist and leadership coach, who've been with us in the first hour of the show. Joining us is an advocate of the High Court, Ian Wakiria Mwangi. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You've been following this conversation.
Yes.
You see why we need you.
It's been a very interesting conversation.
Yes.
And actually, this question has been.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, the mic. Okay. As we sort out your mic,
Yes.
let me just go through some of the
Is it better?
of the
Are we
feedback.
okay?
Are we
Yeah, it's
okay?
okay.
All right,
good,
go ahead.
good,
Okay.
good.
This conversation has been eliciting a lot of excitement, even in legal circles.
Yeah.
Because the legal term for come we stay, in my opinion, is cohabitation. Unfortunately, it's not in the act. It's not. There is no legislative authority to it.
All right.
Most of the decisions on cohabitation we have been guided by judicial decisions. The very first one was in 1995.
All right.
And that's where the confusion comes in, because in 1995 there was a case, it's the famous Hortensia Yahweh case, and the judge gave parameters on when you can presume that there's actually a marriage.
All right.
And you're saying that you can look at how long people have been staying together, you can look at what is their reputation with the neighbors. Are they seen as a couple? I heard one of the panelists saying, have they invested together? Do they have children? And then now the court can safely say that there is a marriage.
All right.
But then now, fast forward to 2010, we had the new constitution. And we get Article 45, which says that the family is the basic unit of the society, and it creates something called a marriage. In 2014, now in furtherance of Article 45, we got the Marriage Act. Now the Marriage Act now recognizes only only 5 types of marriages. That is the Christian, the Hindu, the Islamic, the civil, and the customary marriage. So now from the Act of Parliament, we see that cohabitation is no longer now recognized as marriage. But we see now from the judicial decisions, they have been presuming some de facto unions to be marriages.
All right.
So now in 2023, the Supreme Court now came and said that presumption of marriage is on its deathbed. And all marriages must be registered. But then they had the confusion, because they also said that sometimes courts can presume marriages, and then they give another set of parameters. So that's what it has been eliciting a lot of discussions, because some countries actually have laws which recognize cohabitation unions, like countries like Canada, France, where you don't have to be legally married. You just go and you register this cohabitation of yours, and the process of also separating is also quite simple, because it's not a full marriage.
All right.
Now, as I conclude, interestingly, cohabitation is actually defined in the Act. It's a long-term relationship which resembles a marriage, but it's not.
Yeah.
It looks like a marriage, but
It's not a marriage. But then again, so when we look at those little factors, and Bishop had mentioned how protecting yourself and how important this certificate is. Say, for example, you've done the customary marriage, and maybe you started with kamwiste, mkaenda nyumbani, goats were exchanged, something happened, but then you still don't have the certificate. Am I married? Goats exchanged, there was witnesses, but I don't have the certificate. Am I married, really?
You ain't married.
Good. Good.
You have given goats?
Yes.
That's
Your
microphone.
sorry. Where I come from, we have customary marriage.
Yes.
If goats have been slaughtered,
Yes.
traditions have taken place,
Yes.
you are married.
Yes.
The church is only the next level.
The certificate.
The certificate.
Yes. Do I get it after the goats?
Oh, you don't get the certificate.
Yes. So if I've done all of that and my people know we killed a goat,
Yes.
we did the whole traditional thing, which you need to undo, and you've done it. But I don't have the certificate. Am I married? Am I married?
Let him tell us, because there was a point where when you go through the customary marriage, then the chief fills some forms and you can get the formal certificate. Does that still happen?
Yes, actually, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
And it's also a question we are trying to grapple with. Whether is marriage a question of fact or is it a question of law? You might be in fact married, but by law you are not married.
Yeah.
Now the Section 96 of the Marriage Act states that all marriages must be registered. And actually the evidence of marriage, according to the Marriage Act, is the certificate of marriage. Now from 2014, there was a grace period of 3 years. That is, if you are married under whatever regime of law, whether it's customary law or whatever it is, that you should have gone and registered it. Even if it was not a customary marriage, you go to the Registrar of Marriages and you say that we did this 30, 20 years ago, now we want to formalize it. Yes.
Okay. Now, there's a process, I know. Before we get to that level of certificate, there has to be like notices and notices. So can you take us through that process? Maybe there's some people who don't even know what that process looks like before upate your certificate, before, the white wedding. What is that process like?
It's actually not as hard as people think.
Yeah.
Because you do it yourself.
All right.
You go to eCitizen, and then it will guide you. It's a
Follow like prompts.
you just follow it.
Yeah.
You will ask for some documents.
All right.
Like your ID, the proof that you are single. Because
What is that proof?
I know, I'm single.
Oh yeah.
What do I sign up as proof?
Yes. For example, you might give a divorce.
Yes.
If you
divorce
were married
decree,
before.
and then
Okay.
it means now you are single.
All right.
You can give the death certificate of your
Spouse.
deceased spouse. And then if you have never been married, you just swear an affidavit. You say that I've been single.
Okay.
I'm a spinster, I'm a bachelor.
Okay, I see that. Any other process before you read the feedback?
What I can just say is that if you go to eCitizen, it's something which you can just follow the steps and then you can do it.
Okay, it's as simple as that.
Before they automated it, that's when you had to go to probably a lawyer and then they do it for you.
When they chief when you and nyumbani.
What I'm loving about all this is that there is order now.
Yes.
There is so much order.
order.
Anything out of legal framework is not a marriage. You have to really prove it.
Yeah.
You have the burden of proving it.
Yes.
Not everybody will go the legal way.
Yeah.
But when it comes to you proving it, I'm sure, just like he said, the Supreme Court was saying there are certain parameters that can be used.
Yeah.
To verify that you're married to this person. But I think it is simpler for you to go and register.
Yeah, and do
I
the
see
right
that.
way. Really.
Now, let me tell you.
Wanasemaje?
Hey, where huku kumewaka moto. Aya, Dennis KE, this is on Facebook, says, kuja tukaange.
Where?
And then Immaculate Chef Kirui says, cha muhimu ni kuwa na mtu. Mengine mtajipanga mbele, okay? And then Alice Curry says, "Can we stay nigani na marriage nigani?" So Miss Jenny, I think you will help us with that because walona yote ni same. Sasa gani nigani? And then Benson Owia says, "Of course, come we do this. Kwani iko nini? Maisha ni yetu."
Allah.
And then Sam She says, "Gen Z au ni kaende. Hata si come we stay, hata si marriage, kaende. Itatupeleka tutajua uko mbele." Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to read this, but I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so Irene Opara says,
All the best. All the best, Willie.
Says, "Tuonjane, tuachane. Nothing is permanent nowadays."
and it's true. It's a reality.
It's true, right? And that's actually points. What is happening now? Yahya Ayot on Facebook still says, if you're religious, you'll wait until marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Rosaline Walumba says, "Wachana na harusi nani hadi you're sure of the person you're committing yourself to." Okay. Yeah. Then Festus Silas says, "Wait until marriage if she or he or both are virgins. Unaambiwa wait na mtu anakula raha huko." So if you're both virgins, wait. If not, kaende. Now, another one says, this is Jerry Evans says, "Married, committed to each other, but staying separately, and 3 months in a year staying together." Sasa akona options. Anasema, so we're married, yeah? We're committed to each other, but we're staying separately, and then 3 months in a year ndo tunakuja pamoja. The 9 months but we are married and we are committed to one
if
another.
we look at it long distance, I thought it was like an option of, we can...
Could also be an option. It could be an option, Pierre, because I've had... Remember last time we talked about this and said there's this famous actress who said, "I am married, but we live in separate houses. We live in separate states. But when we want to visit each other, we go visit each other and all these things." But Miss Jenny, there's a trend. Eh?
Yes, there's a trend. And basically it's all about my personality. And I'm thinking, as you say, that I know many couples, young ones, when they are building their new homes, their bedrooms are separate and with a common bathroom. So I like my space. And nothing wrong with that. Even kings and queens did not share bedrooms.
That's true.
Yeah, you snore, so I don't sleep. So when I need to be with you, I'll be with you, and then I'm reading the whole night. So it's not the methodology. The methodology of how you live does not matter.
Okay.
What is important is to understand that a come-we-stay relationship or cohabiting relationship, as I said earlier, it is your choice.
All right.
It is called an amorphous relationship. It has no legs, no hands, it has no structure, it has no framework. And it is a good place to be if that is what you are choosing based on your values, your beliefs, your culture, your tradition. The offside of it is the ethical dilemmas, is the financial challenges, is the legal dilemmas around that. Finally, I am aware that the young people today, they are saying, when you choose to make a commitment, the marriage begins to be boring.
That's the thing.
And I tell you why it begins to be boring. You take each other for granted. You are married, wewe ka nyumba. Sasa nimeoa wewe, Joseph. Tukama umeoa bibi sasa akae nyumbani ukatafute wengine. Now that's a big problem, and it is a social problem. I want to say there is nothing wrong with marriage. Marriage is a decision. You make it and you live it according to the applicable laws, regulations, and ethics. And societal norms. But the truth of the matter is, I want to be married but single.
Okay.
I want to be married
for the title, but single.
So when you're married but single, you've got freedom to do what you want.
But what does that mean? Is that like an open marriage where we say, yes, we are together, but then again, if you want to
they have open marriage, they have marriage with the benefits. How have you had? Benefits. Marriage with the benefits.
There are levels to this thing.
You You know,
You
so,
choose.
So you choose, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying choices have consequences.
Yes.
You will. I have seen couples or women bring home children that don't belong to their spouse.
That's true.
Talk to me, somebody.
Yes.
How do you get there?
Yes.
Because you are having multiple partners,
Yeah.
but yet you are married.
You are married.
Marriage is a decision. Marriage is an institution. There are bylaws. There are behavioral norms.
Yeah.
Everything that governs marriage
Yeah.
must be respected.
I
And I
see.
want to let you know, I began by saying that the society is having a breakdown of the family.
Yes.
And it begins from leadership. Look at the leadership, how it, even by the time they decided cohabiting is really not going to be part of the legal framework. There has to be tradition.
Yeah.
Somebody would die. 3 wives at the mortuary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each one wants to take them because of the property rights that come with the death.
I see. Yeah.
Now, the property rights is one big thing, but the biggest issue is the emotional dilemmas, the ethical dilemmas that you have to live with.
I see.
So when you choose to formalize, you remove all those dilemmas and then you live a life of dignity. It is known that you are the wife or the husband of so and so. The rest are called sideshows.
You know, I like that we talked about kanisani. It's happening that you called out people and they came out. And these unions, we're not just sitting around. We're having children, right? They're still come with stays, but now we have children.
Yeah.
And then it comes to the dissolution of those unions
Yes.
because it's a thing. And legally, I'd like to find out what happens then when it comes to child support, when it comes to custody of children, when there is no framework, there's no certificate. But then we are here 25 years later. We have 5 kids, and now we are fighting. Where do we go? Because
even before we get to the dissolution part,
Yeah.
because again, like you're saying, we're staying together. So there's a lot happening. You know, the kids are here. We're investing, if we are investing, that is. You know, so there's a lot that is still happening. So, and maybe tie that to now the dissolution, which is like the end part, yeah? But here, hapa katikati, what rights, like legal rights, do partners in these unions have? And we're talking about property, you know, and inheritance, you know, for example. What legal rights do they have before kichomeke?
before we end the
then get to the dissolution part.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to separate something.
All right.
Yes.
Children born in a cohabitation union,
Yeah.
they rank the same as children who are born in a marriage.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good thing. Yeah.
That's from the Article 53 of the Constitution about the best interest of a child.
Yeah.
But now, the problem with cohabitation is that the couple, the parties to a cohabitation union are not guaranteed the same rights as married.
So there's no legal rights.
For example,
yeah.
if one of the person died, the question is, can they inherit from their cohabitee? You see,
I like it.
you see, for example, in a marriage, it is set in the Law Succession Act that if your spouse dies, there is a procedure to inherit them. But now the problem now with cohabitation is that there is no law to guarantee such rights to such people. And then also, you've introduced another elephant in the room about dissolution. You see, when people are married legally and there's a certificate, it means that they go to the court and then they get a divorce.
Yes.
Now, for cohabitation, we presume them to be married. Now, to dissolve it, do you also presume them to have divorced?
No.
That's like straight up.
Microphone your heel.
No, it's going out. Yeah.
That's what they're saying on social media. Let's get
You go get out.
Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
You're actually buttressing my point. All I was saying is that these people they found each other and they stayed together, and then we presumed that they are married.
Yeah.
So when they stopped staying together, then we should also then presume that they have divorced.
They're divorced.
Divorced by presumption.
Yeah. And when it comes to what Winnie was asking, when it comes to property, when we are in there, when we are still staying, I was about to say married. We are already in it. When it comes to now, we have to separate. Now, this has to be, what did you come with? What did I come with? We see others fiekaing the whole house.
Yes.
Unaachwa tu hapo na tunguo tako tudogo, you know. But is there a legal way to probably claim things that you probably bought together? Maybe I was home because I'm having children and you were out working and I was taking care of everything else.
And if you ask for
Is there
proof,
a
they'll tell
way?
their kids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Toto.
That's why I started by saying that a cohabitee is not guaranteed the same rights as divorcee. And my advice to people who are cohabiting, if you have decided to invest together, just have the properties under both of your names.
Yeah.
Because now that's now another legal concept. It's joint ownership.
Yeah.
Yes.
Company, a
Yeah.
limited company
Just-
or partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have properties under your name. Because
Okay.
actually what happened in that Supreme Court case of 2023, it's that the man was actually the one who was saying that this court should presume us to be married, and that all the property which we had gotten together during our marriage, we should, I'm entitled to it.
Yeah.
But then the court said that in as much as you had stayed together, we cannot still presume that cohabitation, we cannot still presume it to be a marriage. And sometimes it's not only the women, actually. It's not, it's not only the women who want, who benefit from this, who had been benefiting from this presumption of marriage. Even men.
Even the men,
They
yes.
will go to court and say that we have been married with this person for a long time, we had invested together. Yes. And when courts are looking at whether they can presume that two people are married, they also check things such as investments. Had you invested invested together?
Yeah.
Had you taken loans and started paying them together? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you
And
find
in this
yourself in that
particular
situation.
The man gave the woman the money, and he was not in any of the certificate of the property. And so what happened? The ruling was the property was the woman's.
Yeah.
And there was no case at all because the man had no evidence of showing that he had contributed. He lost everything
to the woman.
after over 20 years of a marriage.
Now, Pasi, so is it that now...
we go on a break?
Yes,
first and
Cindy,
then-
because this question I need Pasi to answer.
Hold on to that. Hold on to that.
I will.
Hold on to that. Okay. So we are going to take a very, very, very short commercial break. And when we come back, we want to find out from you, are you team come we stay, or are you team wait till marriage?
Or team
What's
come we
your
go?
take? Why? Why? We've already established that ukirasherio. Ratio, if you don't have the certificate, the government does not recognize you because you do not have that certificate. The community might, but the certificate, we've established that it is very, very important. Let us know. NTV Kenya on Facebook, NTV Kenya on X as well. We will be right back. Engage me on It's Mikali Mary on Facebook and Twitter, X, and Instagram. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Your World. Let me tell you, there's a show going on when you're on a break. There's a whole show. The show is behind the scenes. This conversation is so heated that even when we go on a break, it's still continuing. We're talking about come we stay unions, the informal unions versus the traditional marriages. And the question of the day today is come we stay or wait till marriage? What's your preference and why? So on NTV Kenya, Facebook, NTV Kenya on X, let us know what your thoughts are. I don't know if you have more feedback, Winnie.
Let me tell you, Butete Waswa on Facebook, and Lubembe, we should not blame the youth. Our parents are not enjoying in their marriages, and their children are getting scared of the prison. I love Omeka in brackets, marriage.
Yeah.
Hey. And then Richard Wahome Wambugu, anasema, it's also called marriage of the maize plantations.
Yes. By the way,
that one. All right. And then David, is it Libese or Libese says, relationships do not have a manual. Just pick your person, put in the work, maintain respect and understanding, and live the journey.
Yeah.
As it is.
I think there's a lot, and I know you had a question.
I had a
Winnie.
question, yes.
Well, just before
All
you
right.
forget it.
Okay. Now, the question was, Percy, because now clearly from what we're seeing online is a lot of people are come we stay, come and go. Maybe, you know, at this point we don't even have to define whatever this is. So is it that then we don't have role models anymore? Is it that we don't have people who have stuck in their marriages, not because they were forced because of what we, but because it's working, you know? So is it that we don't have much of that now, that people are choosing, you know what, kaende. At this point, someone said that is for Gen Zs. Kaende.
Thank you, Winnie. There's an idiom in English that says charity begins at home.
At home, yes.
And just like the gentleman has said, marriage seems, and I think we had this conversation last year, marriage seems to be the most boring thing that life can ever offer. Beyond the
electrifying moment
and drama, nothing now to live for. Is children. The woman seems to be more involved with the children, the man more in the business. What the young people are seeing in the homes is not interesting anymore. But I want to say this, just like our psychologist here said, Jade, that Jenny, thank you. Just like she said, marriage is a commitment.
It is. Yeah.
You have to make a decision. Just like she said, you make your own decision, and decisions have consequences. The moment you get into marriage is beyond all the fantasies, is beyond what you can do together, all those things, and make a commitment to stay with this person beyond all that. But this is not what the children are seeing. I can say that because I have the youth, the GNCs in my house. And sometimes they say, Mama, you are staying alone, or you are reading books, you are watching TV, you're on your phone. Why don't you sit with Daddy? And when I go to him, because sometimes they take me there, he's also reading with his pet somewhere. So I want to say that they have a point. They have a point that come we stay is good. But what I want to say and bring this society to, I believe anything that you do, yes, you are attracted to each other by love, by friendship. And from there, you go deeper and deeper. But it's important at all times to ensure that you legalize whatever you get into.
All right.
Whatever you get into. Because every country has its law. You know, I want to believe in good laws. Like this one of marriage, there is something that will protect you. And when there is commitment, I want to say this, you cannot just go. You will involve parents, you will involve other neighbors, the church will be involved, and try to work it out.
All right.
More often than not, I was reading something, that those who come into a come we stay kind of arrangement, 80% end up in divorce. Because there is no responsibility per se.
Accountability.
There is no accountability by say. If you walk out, you walk out. Nobody will put you to account for it. You understand?
All right.
Nobody will put you to account for it. So when there is that kind of commitment, there is marriage, there is certificate, there is a wedding, okay, there is a customary, everybody is involved, then there is a point where you feel, I'm accountable to my community, I'm accountable to the church, I'm accountable to the state. And when I get to that point of living, then I have to explain.
All right.
I want to say the second thing before you say, all right.
The third, all right.
The reason why there are many deaths and all this, what we are calling femicide, I would like to put it that way, because we have been concerned about that so much, is because you get into marriage, you do what you want, or you get into cohabitation. Let me go to cohabitation.
All right.
And because you're not legally bound to this person, and nobody knows about this arrangement, you can go out and come in. My daughter was telling me, before I decide to stay with somebody, I have to date so many people. I have to date so many people. And then at the end of it all, alerting him that I'm going out for date. You know? And then at the end of it all, we'll decide to be exclusive. And for me, I did not understand that word.
Oh, wait, so we're in a relationship, but then we're multi-dating.
You multi-date, and then you decide you're going to be exclusive. Because she tried to be exclusive with somebody. And the person said, no, I'm not done dating. Give me time. I go around, and then become exclusive with you if it works. And that is what is making, because one of the partners may not agree to that multiple dating.
Yes.
And that is what I believe is leading to these deaths that we are seeing. Because the societal fabric has broken
has
down.
been broken.
There is moral decay when you are not accountable to anybody.
Yeah.
Because today I will ask her, who is this? Tomorrow she says, she will tell me I'm dating. Tomorrow there is another guy, and another guy.
Yeah.
And there is no accountability to it. The next day you hear your daughter has been murdered.
And you don't know by who,
You don't know
because
by who,
it's
and
a
you
lot
cannot
of people.
question. So there is such moral decay that even now, as I speak, I want to advocate that let's go the marriage way.
Let's take the time to even date and know these people.
Yes.
Because sometimes most of the situations where we found people coming in to live together is probably you've not done your research. You've not known the values of this person, what they're about. If they're really
Background
in
check,
this,
DCI,
CIA,
FBI.
you know, get in there, dig in, find out. But I would also like to know what are some of the things that probably if I'm 36 this year. I'm 37 this year. And probably my parents are not married. All these years they've never been married. And now there's a case that's coming up. Those are how many years? Probably my age of being married. And what happens?
Your age.
Yes, it's my age. So what happens in that case? What are some of the things that they can take to court to show that, you know, we are actually together, yes, presumptuously.
And
or
there's
whatever.
proof, there's a child.
There's a child. Because what are some of the things that you can use in that setup to be like, unajua niaje, angalieni hii, this is the evidence that I'm
That is
presenting to
happening.
court.
Yeah.
So in the Supreme Court case of 2023, they gave around 8 parameters. One of them was the length of the time you have been together.
Yes.
The other, yes, the length of cohabitation.
Okay.
The second one was the intention. There's something. You see, some people are cohabiting, but they have no intention of
Marriage.
Of marriage, yes.
Yes, it's this situation we find people have been together for 10 years, but they exactly don't even know what they are. They have
Like situationship, a partner situationship.
no one asked the other one, what are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so some of the evidence which you bring, like the neighbors, come as witnesses, how did they perceive you? And then you yourself, as one of the panelists has said, you are enough evidence.
Yes.
Evidence,
Yes, because you are as a result of their cohabitation. But if I was to meet such a person before these matters go to court,
Yeah.
you just go to the AG and register the marriage so that you don't have to bring,
To
because
prove
the
it.
certificate
Okay.
itself will be enough evidence of marriage.
I have a question on the neighbors.
What I'm saying, reputation. You must have a reputation.
Winnie.
It's a very valid question. I promise. It's a very valid question.
Yes, please.
Because now what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of cases of like interracial marriages. You know, we're seeing a lot of intercultural marriages. You know, and all those things. And people get into this for different reasons. For example, there's some people who say, "Wacha tu tuishi pamoja because permit."
Yes.
You know, insurance. You know, all those things. So when we say the people around us appear to Mika kama to testify and say, yeah, but we saw them wamekuwa kiishi pamoja for all these years. Na sisi tunajua tulikaa pamoja because maybe mwingine anataka permit ama resident. What is this thing called? I'll remember. You know, yeah, citizenship.
Yeah.
Citizenship, you know, or something like that, right? So how strong is this evidence that mimi nimeona Mwikali amekaa na huyu mtu for a very long time, so we presumed they are married, but kumbe Mwikali na huyu mtu wako biashara?
No, that's just one of the criteria.
Okay.
That you must be. Okay, there's something which I want to
Clarify.
nataka kukuaruzia.
Hey.
Is that presumption of marriage is the exception,
Okay.
not the rule.
Not the rule, yes.
On a normal day,
Yeah.
courts will be reluctant to presume that two people are
Married. Yeah.
So now, when the court now has to get to the point that they have to get to this decision, are these two people married or not, they will look at a factor of many things.
Okay.
These people, how they represented themselves to the society. Did everyone believe that they were actually married? Did they buy property together? Did they have children together?
Yeah.
How long have they stayed together? You find people have been cohabiting since 1980 for all purposes.
Okay.
Like you find that, to be honest, that's a marriage.
It's a
They probably
presumption.
even went, as the psychologist said, home, walichinja mbuzi, walikunywa damu, and such things.
Tukakula nyama, yes.
Yes. So the combination of those many factors, they are the ones which
Inform the decision.
yes, they help the court to infer that in fact here there's a marriage.
There's a marriage. Okay.
Let me say this. I think actually Kenya, we are quite behind. We should actually have laws on cohabitation union.
Yes.
The UN through the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, it actually came with recommendations and said that we should protect people who are in cohabitation unions. And countries like Tanzania, they have laws which now recognize cohabitees. They define who are they, what are the rights granted them. Countries like Malawi. Yes, I think now Kenya, we should now be at that stage because it's the reality of the world we live in.
Yes, and majority of the people are in such unions. I agree. Shoot. Okay, I have a question for Miss Jenny. Now, this whole conversation about commitment, and you hear so many women say, yeah, that one, I can fear of commitment, I can fear of commitment, I can fear of commitment. That is why we find ourselves in situationships that, like Ian said, okay, Lisa, what are we? So this come we stay, again, is it like a sign of fear of commitment, maybe? Because, like we said, accountability, responsibility, clearly, it is not there. So is it maybe a sign of...
It's a sign of modernization. Modernization.
Okay.
Civilization evolves, and it is a reality.
Okay.
So we never struggled with marriage during our days. It was the thing.
Yeah.
There were no two ways about it.
It was sign of his respect, actually, yes. Yeah.
And one of the things that we need to understand is that marriage was a parental responsibility. So actually they find the suitor, they bring you the girl, you choose one or two. Even today we still have those cultures that bring in
arranged marriages. Yes.
And so when we got married in those sort of formats, it was not for make me happy, make me feel cool. No, it was intended for building communities and families. So that has changed. And we must understand that modernization has changed to the needs of the current individual. They are looking for joy, happiness, and they are looking for fantasy. Blow my mind.
Yes, electrifying.
So
give me that.
At the end of the day, there is a cost to that.
Okay.
Because there are many things that will make you happy, but not build a marriage built to last. I repeat, marriage is based on a decision.
Okay.
It is institutionalized under governing laws and responsibility, roles. We know what's the role of a man, we know what's the role of a woman, but all that is now ambiguous. And as a result of this ambiguity, we are also do not know as Kenyans or Africans for that, whether you are Australian, American, Europe, we are multicultural, even when we are not in a multiracial. The question is, what's your tradition? What's your culture? What are your values around marriage? Mukosa kabila, ni mtumwa. So at the end of the day, beloved, if you really don't know who you are and where you are coming from, you are what?
Mutumwa. I'm a drop mic.
Everything goes.
Yeah.
Marriage is ordained by God. It didn't just come.
No.
And a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one. And they shall bring forth a godly offspring. Raise your children in the ways of the Lord, and when they mature, they will not depart from those ways. There is a system, an order. If you don't follow it, it's your choice.
It's your choice. And your choices have what? Consequences. And we're coming to the end of the show, but I would like to get probably our last minute parting shots before we close. And maybe, Bishop, we could start with you.
I thought I gave my parting shot.
Microphone.
I thought I gave my parting shot.
Again, we tunataka kusikia tena.
What I want to say is that for me, at the end of it all, let there be order in society. Let's not just live in a careless way, because for me, cohabitation, by all means and by all ways, is being reckless and being selfish. But once you commit, then you are assured that you'll bear the responsibility and the commitment of that relationship to the end.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Yes, our lawyer Ian, fadhali. Parting shot. Sijui unasemaje, unasimama kwa Biblia, kwa law, ama uko kwa zote pia? Yes, uko hapo kwa bishop kabisa. Yes.
I know my personal opinion as Ian.
Yes.
Is that we should treat marriage with the sacredness it deserves, and the things which come with marriage. Yes, and if you want to have the fruits of marriage, then be in a marriage. Don't have something which resembles it.
Oh, thank you.
Now from my legal perspective,
Okay.
I had already said that Kenya should. Already the Supreme Court has recommended this. Parliament should sit down and come up with laws which give clear guidelines. What is a cohabitation? Should it be registered?
Yes.
Give proper definitions. What are the rights of cohabitants? Can they inherit? What if they invest together? So that this ambiguity can go.
Yeah.
And,
You can use this for
Okay.
yes. So I was saying that Kenya should come up with actually legislation. Kenya should come up with legislation on cohabitation, on presumption of marriage, on the rights which accompany such things.
Okay.
It has already happened in Tanzania, Malawi. It has already happened in Tanzania, Malawi, in Canada. In Canada, it's known as adult interdependent relationships. We should also know.
Adult. Underline.
Interdependent.
And they have been recognized since in Canada since 2 or 3. Yes, you can, because some people don't intend to get into a marriage.
All right. Yes.
You find someone has been in about 5 previous marriages. They know this thing doesn't work for them. So they just want to be with someone as a partner.
Then that's it. To maliza the story. All right.
Did we ever get to find out about it?
I know.
Sorry. To close this, what do you say? What's your parting shot? And then maybe I will tell you.
My parting shot, beloved, is simply to say, I'm in a marriage 47 years.
Yes.
I wouldn't do it any differently.
Hallelujah.
I love my life, and I love the fact that, doesn't matter what you want in my space, it is locked as a marriage.
Yes.
I am the queen and the matriarch of the home. I am recognized by my neighbors and my community.
Hallelujah.
And let me tell you, I am honored for that.
Amen.
Now, if you haven't made a decision, I invite you to make a decision. We do things, mentoring, coaching, therapy, and today I'm giving away 3 books, Marriage Built to Last, that marriage begins with a decision. I'm giving you Healing Beyond Betrayal, and I'm giving you a complimentary workbook and a journal.
Oh, that's
Just,
nice.
just say who you are and we'll make it happen.
Yay.
But I want you to know, if you're not in a structured relationship, you are missing out on the flavor of life. Emotional distress, dilemmas, legal dilemmas that will follow you, mental health, you're going to lose your mind. Chasing a human being, who are you with, where are you, why? Listen, relax, decide. It's okay to be in any form of a relationship, whether cohabiting, whether come we stay. It's okay. I don't have a problem with that because that's your choice.
Yeah.
But remember, choices have consequences. And so if you need any coaching, feel free to look for me on Facebook and we can chat from there. But finally, I say, you deserve better. Choose to live purposefully, love passionately, and thrive unapologetically, making the right decision. You deserve it. God bless you, and bye for now.
Let me tell you, that is how to. You see, this is how to end the
This conversation.
You know, I was thinking, if you're in church, you know how the point goes and then you're. It was very musical, but Winnie, you cannot run away from this question as you close the show for us.
Let me tell you, when we started the conversation, I was like, you know what? I'm actually not opposed to the idea of cohabitation.
Yes.
As long as
we
both know up and tunaenda. Okay?
Yes.
So maybe Zai,
Jenny,
But
student number 1, to now sign up.
It's a bad.
Yes.
It's a bad.
Yes.
But having heard what they have said, now I'm like, Peleka ng'ombe kwetu, let's do things right. Because even Pasi said, you need to also protect yourself.
That's
so that
true.
document, yes, it's just a paper.
Yes.
It will protect you. It will save you so many wahalas. Yeah. So now I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it right. Okay. Yeah. But thank you so much for watching. That has been such an amazing conversation. Wow. So much fun. But it doesn't mean, at least since we're saying goodbye here on TV, it ends here. Okay. Our social media handles are at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X, and on YouTube as well. So keep the conversation going up in the comment section. Let's keep talking about this. But for now, we have to say goodbye. My name is Winnie Lubembe.
And I am Mikali Mary.
Well, we'll see you tomorrow on Wellness Wednesday, and we'll continue a conversation that we started last week. And this is as far as, cancer and the burden of cancer, and now in relationships. Now we'll focus more on the healing. How do we heal together? Okay. So we'll have a panel tomorrow. You do not want to miss that. But until then, stay safe. God bless. And remember, choices
have consequences.
Hey, see you tomorrow. Goodbye for now.